Welcome to Not a Great Whisperer podcast. This is your host, Katie Ray. I am joined with the amazing Amanda LaCount. And how I found Amanda is because I absolutely love dancers, choreographers, all that jam. And I might have been on her Instagram and slipped into her DMs to get this interview today. She's in Cali. We're back to some Zoom interviews. It isn't COVID like that anymore because I was doing Zoom interviews for a while. But I am so thankful that you joined us today. Thank you.
Hi. Yes, of course. Thank you for having me. Excited to talk to you.
Welcome to the party. And I am so hyped just about how successful you are. You are a young, amazing human, and you're really breaking the stereotype and all of that jazz. And we're going to jump into it and kind of talk about your journey into dancing and kind of when you started.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I started when I was only 2, and I started because I come from a family of 7. So I have 6 older siblings, and my 2 older sisters danced a lot growing up, and my mom being a single parent raising us. At that time, I'd always be at the studio with her because she would be there, and I'd be bouncing up and down in the studio or like staring through the window. And she kind of just noticed that and thought, maybe she would enjoy that. And she was very right. She put me in my dance classes, my first ones when I was 2. And now I'm the only one that dances. But I'm really happy that she noticed that and put me in because I was really lucky to find my passion so young. Mm-hmm. And I've been dancing ever since. And I'm from Colorado, but I moved to LA when I was 13. And it's, we've been going ever since.
Yeah. And really, I love what you're doing and like your mission behind it. But for me, it's like watching how much work you're putting in. And you said you moved to LA when you were 13. Mm-hmm. So you've been there a while. I mean, that's a huge change from Colorado, right?
Yeah, very
change.
different.
Yeah, big change. But you were young and you're kind of absorbing all of that. But as a creative, like an artist, a dancer, like your work ethic, of course, comes from your passion. But like, where did you really like learn that as a child? Because you're very young. I mean, I'm like 15 years older than you. So talking to you is just like having a conversation about a person who is in their career, very successful, and it's crazy and awesome at the same time. So I like to hear like where your work ethic comes from.
Sure. I think I owe a lot of my work ethic to my mom, just because she had to work really hard to get to where she is, especially, when she was a single parent, like raising 7 kids, still having to work 2 or 3 jobs. Like she knows how to work and she knows how to get things done. And she definitely instilled that in us, to all my siblings growing up. She always told us, you have to work hard for what you want and you have to earn it. Things aren't just handed to you in life. And even if you work hard, you might not get the things that you want or deserve, sadly. But she was just I'm lucky that I had a mom that was so honest, because she really kind of said it like it is. But she just really told us that we're going to have to work really hard. And I think all my siblings are a result of that. All my siblings are very, very successful in their own way. And they're very hardworking and determined. And I think I got a lot of that from her. And I think also, even though I know you said besides passion, I'm just going to touch on it.
Yeah,
that
please.
I think it makes it a little bit easier because I'm so passionate about it. So sometimes, not all the time, sometimes it doesn't feel like work. It feels like, oh my gosh, I get to go do what I love, which I love it every time. But sometimes there are those days where I'm just tired or, I don't know if my body can take another rehearsal today.
Yeah.
But you kind of just have to say, this is what I love. I signed up for it and it's going to pay off in the end.
And you had auditions till 2 a.m. or something crazy today, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So insane. By the way, when I was like, okay, yeah, no problem. That's crazy to me. But, I watch my son and daughters, we dance around the house all the time. And I'm always just like, how do I know when it's their passion? But definitely my youngest doesn't stop dancing. There doesn't have to be any music. So there's that. But so when you and your mom moved to LA, were you homeschooled? Like, were you focused on just dance? Like, how did that work?
Yeah, I actually went to public school all through high school until I graduated. And a lot of people are shocked by that because they assume sometimes I was homeschooled just because I was dancing so much. Yeah. Where it was like, how do you have time for school?
Yeah, right?
And it was very stressful, don't get me wrong, but both my mom and I, we were on the same page. We really wanted me to have the experience of going to public school. And there's nothing wrong with homeschooling. I just personally wanted that experience. And I wanted to make those friendships, have those memories in high school and live through that. And I'm really happy I did. I went to an art school here in the Valley, and it was amazing. I made some of my closest friends there that are still my best friends. And yeah, I learned a lot there. I learned time management too with doing school, going to a public school, and also trying to, make it as a dancer.
I mean, I did assume because of schedule, because I feel like your schedule now is intense. So imagining that in school, but again, that also taught you, like go to bed when you get home, right? Like get to bed because you are exhausted.
Absolutely.
And going into really the breaking the stereotype message and everything you really stand for, how did that come about? Because, as just in society with models and dancers and art, this is what you're supposed to look like, or this is what the media says you look like. And and in all girls and boys' head is like this vision. So how were you able to break out of that and really build your confidence, and what rejections did you encounter?
Yeah. So growing up, when I started dancing, it was smooth sailing for me. Like, I didn't think I was quote unquote different than anybody else. I was like, oh, we're all here to dance. Woo, fun. And then when I got probably around age like 8 or 9, I really started to realize that people were looking at me differently, giving me like dirty stares, talking about me. And I just knew that there was something about me that wasn't right for whatever they thought I had to look like. And the first real experience I had with someone telling me to my face my body was a problem was when I was around, I think, 11. And a studio director of the studio I went to in Colorado kicked me out of his studio because my body type didn't fit his vision, is what he said. And that was crazy. I was completely shocked and caught off guard because I had gone to that studio for over a year. Like, I respected him so much. He was my mentor. I absolutely loved him and looked up to him. So to have someone that you felt so close to be like, I don't like the way your body looks. You can't dance for me anymore. That was very impactful, and it affected me a lot. But I think I was really lucky to have the support system I do and the mom I do, because she was really encouraging. Of course, she like helped me get through it and loved me, but she also was, what's the word? Was smart enough to know that she might have to give me a tough like kick in the butt to get me to keep going. Because, after a little bit, she was like, okay, this happened. You can't just be sad forever. We can't change what he thinks. We can't change what he did. So don't let that change your life, or don't let him stop you from doing what you love. Just keep doing what you want. Forget about him, and you'll prove him wrong later. And I think I was really happy that she gave me that tough love, because it encouraged me. And I started dancing, and I kept going. And I shortly moved to LA after. And, now I'm doing amazing things, and I am proving him wrong.
100%.
Which is amazing. And then after I moved to LA, I had more people tell me, you have to lose weight if you want to make it. You don't have the dancer body. Go on a diet. Do all this, do all that. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I know who I am. I know my talent speaks for itself. I don't need to change myself to appeal to you guys. The people that I want to respect me, or that the people, what's the word? The people that I would want to work with and get respect from are people that will respect me as I am. So I'm not going to change myself for other people. And I started breaking the stereotype about 5 or 6 years ago, which is crazy to say. It feels like I started yesterday.
I know. How great.
But I started it, and it really wasn't started as like, oh, I'm making a huge campaign and it's going to be a movement. It was not that serious. I came up with it very spur of the moment, just randomly. And I just wanted to come up with a hashtag that really summarized what I'm all about, what I want my dance career to be about, and what my purpose is. And I think that's breaking the stereotype. I don't fit the stereotype of what a dancer should look like. And I'm sick of hearing that. And so I came up with breaking the stereotype to try to break that, and hopefully try to inspire the people around me, or the people that look at me and know me, to do the same in their own lives. And it's taken me so many places, and it's such a huge part of who I am now. I can't imagine not having it. And I'm really grateful, and I'm proud of where it's gone. And I'm lucky that I can inspire so many people like me, because I didn't have someone like me growing up. So that's why I'm so passionate too about dance, is because it's not just dance to me. Yes, dance is amazing, but there's so much more behind it for me, because of those beauty standards or dance standards I don't fit into. So I'm not just doing it for myself at the end of the day. I'm doing it for all the other people that look like me that don't have the same opportunities I do or aren't in the same circumstances I'm in.
I love that. And as someone who tries to instill just confidence and love for your body to my kids every day, like, that's powerful. And for you to be so young, like instilling that message into people is huge to me. And how did you become this strong? And like, how were you able to push away the people that were trying to put you into this mold? Like, how did you get there?
Oh, I think it was a mix of a lot of different things. I think part of it is that I was born with a certain amount of confidence. Even like when I watch videos of myself growing up, I'm like, oh my gosh, you think really highly of yourself. And
you're
I do.
Like, yeah.
It's honestly, that's pretty much how it was like. But I think I say this sometimes, and it's so sad because everyone would be so confident if we didn't have to deal with like other people's opinions, because we only start not liking ourselves when we realize that other people don't like us. Yes. You know what I mean?
Wow.
We all start like, we're amazing. I love myself. I love everyone.
We do. We are children and we are like, we are everything. And then people's opinions start. That's why I stopped, like, even like the grandparents, if they say something the wrong way, I'm like, no, because that affected me when I was little. Like, no, you don't. Oh, you're bigger than your, like, you just don't say stuff like that. Like, you just love everybody. You look beautiful. Bye. Like, that's it. You look beautiful. Bye. That's what I want everybody to say. But you're so right, because you took your childhood self and you're like, this is me forever. And that's important.
And it is really important. And I think people underestimate the impact just one thing can make on someone. Like, you say one negative thing to someone, that can truly change their life in the worst way. Just one thing. You don't know what kind of mental state they're in, what they've been going through that day. Like, just be kind to everyone. So I think I was born with a certain amount of confidence, but I think also my mom, again, I think I get a lot of it from her. She's very unapologetic, very, this is me. If you don't like it, whatever. Yeah. And I think I got some of that from her. And I think the rest just comes from dancing. I think dance gave me a lot of confidence. And I think without it, I definitely would not be the confident person I am. And there's just something about like expressing yourself and moving your body that makes you more comfortable with it. And I think everyone should dance a little bit. Not, you don't have to be amazing. You don't even have to be on beat.
I dance all the time. And I'm like, that person you're talking about right now.
Yeah. And I love that, like, just moving your body. Like, I think dance has helped me fall in love with my body too. Like, and since I've been doing it since I've been growing up, I think that's why I learned to love myself so early. Because I'm so used to moving my body and feeling how it moves.
And just loving, like, and looking at it and being like, wow, I can't believe you could move like that. Like, yes, you're so right. And again, it goes back to like artists, creatives and stuff. I always say, like, that's your therapy.
Oh, yeah.
You get to dance it out. If someone pisses you off that day, I mean, I still dance it out too. But like, you get to like make a really good dance move out of that. But like, you get to, that is how you release things. That's where all your like, it's really awesome to watch. And your videos give me life. But tell me one of your favorite gigs so far. Like, what's been for you? And it could be a small little moment. It could be a huge moment, whatever. Sure.
I'm going to say two. I know you said one. I'm going to say two.
It's okay.
My first one is
your day.
The first one is Rihanna's Savage Fenty show. I've done it twice, and it just there's nothing like it. And I'm always just so honored to be a part of it. And I love Rihanna and I love the show. And it's truly probably the most inclusive show out there right now. Just in all different ways. Like, they have people from all different walks of life. And it really shows that everyone's beautiful. And I love that. Because especially in the fashion industry, that's like not even heard of.
Yeah.
And so when she started doing the Savage show, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I love this. And I'm being a part of truly a history making show. Like, this is amazing. And I always perform in it, and I feel so empowered after and seen and valued. And I think the representation is so important, and it's making a difference. It really is. So that show, being a part of it, is always super important to me because I know there's people watching it and they
connect to you.
They relate to us, and we're making them feel seen and beautiful. And I just love that. And then the second one is I got to do the AMAs in November with an artist named Zoe Weiss. I think you say her last name. I might be saying it wrong. I believe she's German. So I'm sorry if I say it wrong. But I got to dance for her. And there was a really special moment in the performance where I got a little solo part thing. And the song's called Girls Like Us. And so it was just really special because I was just imagining, again, it's the constant theme in my life, but, the young girls like me, watching that on TV, seeing a plus size dancer like on stage performing with an artist at an award show. I never saw that. And so it means a lot to me to know that the younger generation especially can see that and hopefully feel like, oh, I can do it too,
And being young, saying the younger generation, it's like that wasn't too far from when you didn't see that, So it's like, wow, we've come a long way, but it's like we still have so much farther to go. But the fact that you are noticing a trend like that is really important, especially to me because of my kids, and just knowing like all the images I saw that affected me. Like, wait, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. I want my hair straight. I don't want to curl it today. Like little things like that, and that's really huge. And you are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my God, how cool. And I, as someone who is really good at dancing, like myself, I'm very excited to learn one of your dance videos and show you and send it to you. You're like, please don't do that to me.
I want to see it. I want to see it. You have to send it to me. You put it out there. So now you have to do it.
No, you have to do that later. But I love that. And with Breaking the Stereotype, it really fits, just like when you brought up fashion, it really fits in a lot of industries, and just starting in one, like dance, choreography, all of that, like is so important because it's such a vast amount of people that have been rejected or you don't fit the mold. And then in fashion, so I get why the savage, like that's a huge thing, because then in fashion, models are seen as just like you can, and and just to have both of those blends just in one spot. Yeah. That is monumental. Like that's huge. And so are you with groups usually? So with that solo one that really stands out, have you not gotten a lot of ones that is just solo, but you do choreography. So you are also teaching.
Yeah. Most of the jobs I do are groups because like they want, everyone, just dancers help with like the environment and the energy. So whenever there's like a musical performance or a video, they definitely want like a group. But then like the Zoe Weiss thing, I just got like a special moment, and she was just singing. It was an amazing experience. But most of the time it's a group. And then yes, I do teach as well, which has been really exciting. I started teaching probably like 2 years ago. And it's just been really, I've learned a lot from it, and I'm starting to like learn what my style is, who I am as a choreographer, because it's very, I feel like my two identities are very different. Like when it's like my dancer self and my choreographer self. So it's been really cool getting to dive into choreography more and learning, what I enjoy and just being creative. And
which ones do you enjoy the most right now? Like what type of dance?
I think definitely jazz funk is my thing. And I mean, but I just love all music.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I doubt you're like, I don't want to dance that. Yeah. But it's just like, what makes you feel like what you want to teach others and what you want to do?
Yeah. Cool. No, jazz funk for sure. For sure.
That's cool. Jazz funk sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I myself am like a hip hop contemporary.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how well I execute it, but I know in my head.
Yeah.
So I started my daughter in lyrical because I feel like she does just like things all the time, and she loves it. But you see her doing her own thing in the corner sometimes, and she's just, but then you see the younger like teachers who are also doing like body rolls in the middle, and she'll stare and try to do that too. So I love stuff like that. I love it because again, like artistry for me is like people's way out of just like getting everything out they can, getting the stress out, and just feeling good. And you're right with like groups, like dancers are always added to everything to liven up everything. Like I like to MC events because I like to bring the hype. But if I had a backup dancers every time I walked out,
Hey.
There'll be a lot more hype. Okay. Right? I love it. So what are some of your big, I mean, girl, you're 21, you're killing it. What are some of your big goals? Like more goals than you've done right now? There's got to be a lot. Right?
I don't really, but I hate this question sometimes because I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, so like, where do you see, like, do you see yourself teaching more? Do you see yourself not like like, I know what you're saying. I understand why you hate that question. It's like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? But it's like, what's your next hit? Like, because I feel like you were 13 going to LA. So what was some of your goals? I got to get some dancing under my belt. I got to do this. I got to start school. Like, here's your next step. Like, you're young. Like, where's your next little step coming?
I think because, the reason sometimes I'm like, this question, I don't know, is because, 5 years ago, I would never say, I think I'm going to be, dancing with Lady Gaga and, Rihanna. I would have never even, I wouldn't even.
But now sky's the limit. So you can have those.
It's crazy. I think one of my big goals is to go on tour.
Cool.
I think that is just something I think every professional dancer wants to do at some point in their career. And that's probably my next goal. I do enjoy teaching a lot. Maybe choreographing, like some small things would be cool, like getting to work with a choreographer just to see what that's like. But I'm still very new in that world, so I'm not, pushing that too much. But
but it's cool to start, right?
Yeah, I do want to see what that experience would be like and what I can bring to the table as a choreographer. And then, I really like award shows, live performances. And I think just working with as many artists as I can is the goal.
How's the pressure on live performances?
It is a lot of pressure.
Is it like adrenaline and then you're like, shit, like it's just like it's starting, like is it a lot of pressure? For
me personally, I think some people have it worse than me. So I'm like, okay, like normally I can kind of keep it pretty calm, but what happens for me is like right before we go on or we perform, I get like this like adrenaline, like this just span of like 2 minutes where I'm like, oh my God, we're going. But then I'm like, okay. We're fine. Like I got it. And I go out and, I do it like we're doing it, for however long we were rehearsing. But I know for me, I have like a 1-2 minute span where I'm like, oh, the adrenaline is like up here and I'm freaking out. And then I kind of like come back down to earth. But it is very nerve wracking because it's live.
No, when you say live events, I'm like, ugh.
Like if you mess up, if you fall, I mean, to be fair, if I messed up or I felt like I'm just going to keep going and figure it out, like, but it is very nerve wracking, but it's also, there's something so special about it because it's a different energy than anything else. So it's like, and I wouldn't say that being, anxious or nervous is a con, but there are like two sides of it where it's like, oh, I love live performance because there's an amazing audience and like knowing it's live, just there's something about that is amazing. But then there's also like, oh, it's live. We can't reshoot this. That doesn't exist. Like, this is it.
This mix of emotions, killer. You're like, how do I balance this? But I do think that's really awesome. I mean, live is hard, but that adrenaline and afterwards, you're like, fuck yeah. I mean, the hype after is probably intense. But for someone who, dances and loves it and has passionate about it, like what's your downtime? Like, how do you fill your cup back up? Like from work, like say, I know dance is probably an outlet too, but like what else do you do for yourself?
Yeah, dance is definitely another outlet because sometimes it's nice to not go to a class or a rehearsal, but just go into a studio and just like play music, play whatever you want and just move around. So that's great. But anyway, not dancing. I think some things I do, I don't have too much downtime, but some things I really like to do is I do actually work out pretty frequently. And I think that's good for like mental. I think it's kind of a good time to like find peace. And it is kind of therapeutic. I also really enjoy doing my makeup and I do I wish I had them done, but I do my own nails. I do acrylic nails.
That's super cool.
Yeah. Oh, I learned how to do it in quarantine because everything was closed, and I was like, I want my nails to be pretty. So I learned during quarantine.
You are someone that learned a hobby in quarantine, and I am proud of you.
Yeah. I also learned how to knit.
Oh shit! And
then that was about it. But hey.
Yeah, but like, do you just like sometimes shut off, watch a movie? Like, is there? Yeah. Do you just sometimes kind of like need a break?
My favorite show is RuPaul's Drag Race. And that is definitely like therapy to me. I'm like, it is just amazing all around. It has everything I could want in a show: drama, comedy, art, runway, fashion, like everything, inclusivity, like everything I want in a show. Diversity is in there. So I love that show. And then, just like sitting, watching movies, cuddling my dog, hanging out with my friends. I have some really lovely people around me that definitely help me a lot if I'm going through something, or if maybe I'm not in the best mental state. Like, always amazing. And I think it's really important to have that circle of people around you that, you trust, that you care for, that you love.
And fill you up. Like, they remind you what you know, but that you're having that like moment. That's super important. And LA has a lot of good people around.
Yeah.
I love this, by the way. I just love that, I see so much potential in your generation, and there's just so much that you're filling my cup up, being like, yes, love the grit, love your videos. I mean, they just get me in like, I'm going to do that later. I'm going to move like that later and feel good.
Yeah.
About it. And that was your goal, let people know.
Yeah.
So what's like one thing you want to leave my billion listeners with? Like something that can help them through.
Mm-hmm. I would just say, I think the biggest thing that makes people not love themselves as much as they should, or love the skin they're in, is comparing themselves to other people and letting other people's opinions matter to them more than their own. And I think as long as you can go home at the end of the day saying, I love myself, I know who I am, and I know who I'm not. And you can just kind of take these opinions that people are giving you and just be like, okay, and then out the other, like in one ear, out the other. That's so beneficial, and it'll truly change your life. And I think once I started caring, or trying to care less about other people's opinions of me, because let's be honest, we're never going to not care at all. There's always going to be, even if it's just for a split second, like they think that way about me, that's fair. But what really is the challenge is letting yourself not value those opinions or internalize those opinions as your own. So I think just don't compare yourself to other people, and don't let other people's opinions of yourself affect you at the end of the day. You nailed it. Where can we find you? Sure. Geez, there's so many social media. I found you. The main ones. Instagram is where I live. So Amanda LaCount is Instagram, and then TikTok is the new thing. I got to get into that, girl. It's hard. It's hard. That's Amanda_LaCount. And then pretty much everything else, if you want to know anything else about me, is on my website, AmandaLaCount.com. And I think that's about it. Listen, your authenticity, your vulnerability, just all of you is awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining the show. You can find Amanda on Not a Great Whisper podcast, at The Real K Ray, KatieRay.com, BK Creative Studios in Ybor, coming from the West Coast just to chat with us today. But seriously, this was a pleasure, and I appreciate you. Oh, thank you so much. I had a great time. Thanks for having me. All right, we're done. We're done recording. Woo! You're amazing. Thank you. So cool. Super cool. Now when I'm like stalking your page, I won't feel as weird because I've talked to you now. So it feels much better. So funny. But seriously, you're doing awesome things. And you're going to have your off days, your on days, all that, but your mindset's really strong. And that's really important. And it makes me super excited how awesome your mom is. Cause I'm like, I'm going to stay the course and still cheer on my kids, because if they can come out this awesome and be like, my mom helped, I'll be like, oh my God, thank you. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, for real though. That's really, you and your mom moving out there together, that's huge, girl. Yeah, no, she's the best. Oh my God. And I do love that you stayed in school too, because you knew you wanted that experience, because I think also that support around you, because you're right. There's a lot of kids that like get into like professional stuff and just go homeschool, and they miss out on that. So it's okay that you had no sleep for like 4 years. It's fine. Who needs sleep? You're fine. You're totally fine. But thank you. I really appreciate you. And I know you had a late night or morning or whatever. But I hope we stay connected. And I'm on West Coast all the time for our executive meetings for my other job, my real job. Oh, cool. But I'll let you know if I'm in LA. I usually am in Santa Monica visiting one of my best friends who's a Foley. Okay. But it'd be super cool. I'm gonna let you know, so we can do a dance. So I can know what dance class and I can take one of your dance class. Absolutely. Sounds good. Thanks, Amanda. Have a good one. Thank you so much. You too.